Hey, what's going on, everybody? How are you doing? Good to see you guys again. It's been a minute. It has been a hot minute, chat. I think the last stream was March 21st. Yeah, and Mr. J Speed kicking things off on a super positive note. Much love to you, Mr. J Speed, with a Twitch Prime subscription for 17 Kerbal years of support. Yes. He has a mustache. I do. I have gone the no shave route for a little while. But yeah, good to be back, chat. If you haven't been on Discord and things like that, I have been away mainly because a new job has taken a bunch of my time, but now things are starting to kind of fall into place, and I hope to be able to stream some more. That's kind of the quick spiel of things. And Graham continuing with that Twitch Prime subscription. Much appreciated, Graham. How are you doing? 4 Kerbal years of support. Yes. Teething issues aside, how are the new assets working? I love them. I think they're fantastic. I've kind of figured out how to use the ones I really want to use. Logo is fantastic. Starting screen I use as like the first initial like start, and then I transfer to that continuous loop one. I have the ending stream one for ending. I have all the panels up. I love them, Nova. I really appreciate that very unexpected surprise. Much love to you. Yeah, what's up, TF? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome back, Captain Failure, coming in with the Twitch Prime subscription as well for 50 Kerbal years. Much love to you guys. Doing good. I got into college finally, and in 2 years I'll be in university. Awesome, Graham. Congratulations. That's wonderful news. Wonderful news. All right, chat. Let's what's up, Frizz? Yes, we are indeed back, my friend. We are indeed back. Yo, Cobra Bubbles also coming in with the tier 1 for 7 Kerbal years. Much love to you. Goodness. There's too much, chat. Much appreciated. Great to know my guy knocked it out of the park. I think he certainly did. Hold the frick up. Who the hell is this guy? Don't know this guy. All right, chat. This should look familiar. Blam. Yeah. Yes, it has been, like I said, since March 21st, I believe, was our last stream. Might be a little rusty, but I also hear that playing KSP is like riding a bike. But we have to kind of figure out where we left off. This is really what we have to do. Yo, Nova continuing the hype train on the Twitch side, coming in for 27 Kerbal years. Much love. What did you think of Starship Flight 10? Flight 10 was superb. Definitely knew that SpaceX was bound to figure out the issues that they were having. Super glad it didn't explode again. Super glad Booster made it down for a software landing after Flight 9's explosion on re-entry. They're starting to hone it in, it seems, continuously learning, as is the game with Aerospace Engineering. Yeah, I'm excited to see Flight 11, and I'm interested to see how they take the knowledge gained from Flight 10 for those metallic tiles and how they performed, and further integration with Starship. Also, the aft wings, the aft flaps this time burned up on re-entry. Not before seen, although I guess technically speaking this is the first V2 Starship we've actually seen go through re-entry. But if you guys remember, like Flight 5, 6, 7, wait, 7 also exploded, right? 7, 8, 9 exploded. So 5 and 6 Starship that actually made it through re-entry, the front flaps were the issue. Now it kind of seems like the front flaps are fine, and now the aft flaps are seeing some problems. So definitely some things to figure out, but it made it, and that's great. Good YouTube stream is also back. Yes, Cheeseburger, YouTube is also streaming. I should say we are also streaming on YouTube, yes. A bike with a couple of SRBs. Yes, that sounds about right. The skirt was kind of crazy. Yeah, as far as I know, that was a problem that should not happen again. Front had the flap issue. Yeah, it's all been front flaps until Flight 10, but also this is the first Starship V2 we've actually had go through re-entry, so, you know, still learning pains there. With the white tip, it was more like Delta 4 heavy center core. That's fair. I think they burned up because something hit the skirt and gave it an entry point. Yeah, I was wondering that as well. It just seemed odd that both flaps were having those issues though, right? Because we saw, at least in the camera view that I remember, only one side of the skirt had that explosion, but both aft flaps had problems. So I don't know. Payload deployment was sick. Glad that they figured that out as well. That is true. That is a really, really good point, Deke. That, yeah, Starship was able to use the Pez dispenser for once. The Pez dispenser used to deploy V2 Starlink satellites. It worked. It actually worked. We don't know how well it worked. It got them out the door, but of course we don't know what the internal engineering data is in terms of how well it worked, right? Because if you guys remember, all the previous flights that got to that point had troubles either with the payload door opening. I think that was the main issue, was the payload door not opening before. So they fixed that. That's great. And they were able to pop out the Starlink satellites. Looked Rube Goldberg-esque. Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah, the SLS cosplay. That's true. Yeah, so Starship, right? V2, first one going through entry, had those metallic heat shield tiles, and because they were metallic, they rusted. But it's not like rusting as you might think it here on Earth. I'm pretty sure that's coming from atomic oxygen. Really, really high in the high altitude atmosphere, especially as you're going through entry. When you're slamming into oxygen, O2 particles that are in the upper atmosphere, you can rip away those bonds, and then you get just singular O particles, and then those can just eat away at metallic surfaces. Satellites also have to worry about that to some degree in very low Earth orbit as well. Yeah, atomic oxygen, no joke. Sawyer coming in with a tier 1 resub for 8 Kerbal years of support. Much love to you, Sawyer. How are you doing? Do Starlink units have some sort of RCS to tweak its orbit? They do. I don't know about RCS, but they do have electric propulsion systems. They use Krypton Hull effect thrusters, if I remember correctly. And because they use Krypton, they possibly also use Krypton cold gas thrusters for attitude control. But yes, they do have at least a singular EP thruster for orbit maintenance, and it could be on like a gimbal, and that gives you your fixed off control to some degree. Well, they only have one, so I guess that doesn't affect its role, but they also have reaction wheels. They also might use magnet torquers. Unknown, but they definitely have a electric propulsion system for orbit maintenance. Can I post a link to a tweet? It shows a nav ball for flight 10, and you can clearly see the S-turns it was doing. Sure. Depending on what it is, I'd be interested in seeing if the bot times you out, because the bot was giving me trouble. That's why I started a little bit later than I wanted to, because the bot was giving me issues. So yeah, go ahead and try to link something. Oh, and if it's X, I think those are all whitelisted. So let's see what we got here. Ooh. Oh, that's wild. I haven't seen this. Yeah, this is coming from Space Engineer. Look at that. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that way is the normal entry profile. So velocity vectors this way. That's really interesting. That's crazy. So that's it before hitting entry, I'm pretty sure, because we definitely don't want it to be doing that if the velocity vector's this direction, because that's not where the heat shield tiles are. Now it seems to be orienting itself for entry. Then it's going through entry. Nice. That's actually, without any sort of like dub or any sort of like info, pretty sure that's what's happening there. Like all this entire phase here is when it's on orbit doing like Pez dispenser operations and whatnot, and then when it does that flip around and pitch up, that's it preparing for the atmospheric interface for re-entry right there. Then it's going to pitch up, and that's when it's going through entry. stabilizing through entry. Look how stable that is going through entry. Then an S turn, and then an S turn coming back the other way, stabilizing. That's pretty cool. I feel like there was really good news, like they were testing some form of cross-range maneuver, possibly. I mean, we can't forget that Elon, wait, did they get a contract? I think they got a contract, right? For dropping these for suborbital flights for the military. So for that, you kind of have to have some sort of control during entry to be able to land this vehicle at certain destination points, right? Shuttle vibes, very much shuttle vibes. Yeah, really cool share here, Penta. I hadn't seen this before. That's pretty sick, actually. All right, chat. Let's see where we left off in KSP. Like I said, it's been like what? I wonder if I need to reset. Maybe not. All right, looks like we've maybe stabilized. I changed my OBS settings because there was an update and everything, so I don't know how well everything is going to be here. Oh, also that's way too much. Apparently it automatically changed my bit rate, and my bit rate I think is way too high. But we'll see if that does okay. I don't think it is though. I might need to stop and restart because I have my bitrate setting way higher than it should be. Should be okay, chat. I see y'all pressing F's for respect in chat, but it should be okay. Should be back, yeah. Can confirm on Twitch because I'm going to probably reset and lower my bitrate because it seems like my bitrate was changed by OBS to be way too high. All right, let's try this. We're going. All right, that seems to be working. Should be back now. Should be back now. F5, good deal. And it seems to be more stable, question mark? Seems to be more stable. We'll go with this for the moment and see. If not, then it just might not be meant to be for tonight. But anyways, let's continue on here and see what happens. Yo, Warlock coming in with 47 Kerbal years. Much love to you, my friend. How are you doing? Hope you're doing swell. All right. I think that's okay. I think we're good-ish for now. It seems to at least be better than it was. All right, so let's go ahead and fly Mr. Iceman here in our helicopter. Let's go out to our KSC proper, our launch sites, and see kind of like where we left off. Because I don't know. I don't know where we left off, Chad. That's going to be the thing to figure out. 47 is the best number, tremendous number, one of the biggest numbers in history, I believe. Yeah, stop it. Stop that right now. Have you heard of a game called Arcean? I feel like it would be up your alley. You know, I actually have it downloaded, believe it or not. I do have it. I just haven't streamed in a while and haven't played it yet. Okay, so what do I need to do? All right, so that's good. Oh, we're up, chat. Nice, very good, very good. Probably should have started the engines first, huh? All right, let's see what trouble we can get into, yeah? All right, let's first check out, is that just the pad or did we have actually something going on here? Yo, Toaster, absolutely, my friends. Absolutely. All right, so we need to go into control here, get that up, get this up as well. That seems fine. All right, I think we're doing good. We haven't crashed yet, so that's a positive. Okay, so that does seem to be just a launcher, a launch mount. So it seems like whatever mission did fly that is now gone. Is this live? Is it? I don't know. Is it dead? I don't know. Help me figure that out. Yeah. Yeah, it's live. In 3 weeks' time, I'm going to start work as an avionics tech 2 at Aerospace. Nice. Dude, that's awesome. Work on Dream Chaser? Hell yes. It seems live, but looks can be deceiving. Am I right? Ooh, what in the heck is that? So did we not land this, or did we land this? 4 kilometers downrange. It doesn't seem like we landed that. Yo, what's up, Naps? Yes, we are back. It is a rare rocket guy sighting. That is true. Vibe flying? Yeah, definitely. All right, 63. I think we can go a little bit faster. Should be able to go a lot faster than this. You can see we have our pad set up over here, ready for another launch mount. Did this like land safely in the water, or did it like explode? That's my question. Oh, it did land safely in the water. Well, would you look at that, chat? Would you look at that? Huh. I tell you, chat, it really is like flying a bike. It's like flying a bike, chat. It's like riding a bike. All right, so this landed in the water. Now, why did it land in the water? Because it should have landed over there. You know what we're gonna have to test, chat, is all of our landing codes again. 'Cause I do not remember how those are set up. Deploy the sky crane and drag it back. No, you know, I like life. I like my Kerbals being alive, you know? Just saying. Would you look at that, chat? My only question is, why is it here? Why is it here and not over there? Could be better, could be better. Interdasting. What do we do? Yeah, we're gonna have to relearn how all of our flight code works, that's for sure. That is for sure. I forgot that I need to use this to trim as well. All right, well, let's go ahead and land this thing back on the VAB and see what we can do. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out, per our rules, I'm pretty sure we have to leave that there. Wait, no, we don't, actually. Per our rules, it's 35. What do we want to do? We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for now and try and figure out how to get it back. Ah, Deke, yeah, I have no idea. I got no clue. I think the one is still up from previously, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get those back in action. Straight to Duna, that's right. Just go right to Duna, please. Do not pass go, chat. Yeah. Going to need to do some testing here. Ah, yeah. It's been so long, I don't remember how to do that. But I need to figure out how to get our Minerva back up and running with its pads and stuff. I know, Warlock, truly. Silly startup life and unexpected, unexpected layoffs. All right, it seems good. We'll bring it in for a landing. Yep, it's still out there, exactly. See if we can't bring this in for a nice, easy landing here. There we go. Nice and easy, chat. Yeah, TF, I think that should be very doable, yeah. Because I recently realized, and by recently I mean like near the end of our previous like stream train, like back in March, realized that KRPC's last update allows us to communicate with robotic parts, which is super good. There we go, chat. Go ahead and shut down. Go ahead and bring it back here to the starting line. And there we go. Sweet. Now I gotta figure out how do we close the doors. That's gonna be important. Was it like 5? Nope. Was it 0? Aha, it was 0. Okay, there we go. Close up the doors. Perfect. Using Cal suck. Yeah, that's fair. Yo, what's up, Crack? How are you? How you doing? Okay. Yeah. Yes, to be fair, that is something I do want to look into, TF, is eventually getting to the point where we can actually do full Starship and SpaceX style of launch and landings. We already have some of the landings for RTLS figured out. We're gonna have to do some testing with that and see just where we left things off, and it can be very much improved. Let's get that straight. We basically have launch done. We have landing done. It could be more accurate. It could be better. Got to figure out how to automate the boost back burn. Got to figure out how to then switch back and then automate the second stage burn into orbit insertion. And then we should basically have a set of modular tools to then do like full Falcon 9 style of missions, full Starship style of missions. We'll have to figure out the flap control for Starship. Yeah, there's stuff. There's stuff that we can do. How is Boulder as a city? I mean, it's fun. It's fun. Boulder's fun to go as like a place to visit. I don't know about living there though, personally. Rocket Gal says it's nice. Yeah, she lived there for a while. Yeah, I just it can be busy, of course, because it's a downtown area that has lots of shops, and there's CU Boulder there, so a lot of students are there, and it's a pretty kicking place for sure. Physics range extender, it works quite well for me. Yeah, you know, I think I vaguely remember somebody talking about that previously as well. There's a few mods on my, I think, to-do list. What's up, Penguin? How are you doing? It has been a while, yeah. I need to learn how to build rockets like you. Yes. It's, you know, I might have a little bit of a little bit of an advantage of having played this game for, gosh, 12 years now? It's 2025. 12 years now. 11 years, I think. 11 years for me. So yeah. Are you wearing a Rocky shirt? I am wearing a Rocky shirt, yeah. It's a rebuilding year, okay? Don't come at me, Captain. It's a rebuilding year. All right, Space Center. Have you tried the new KSP 2 update? No, I haven't actually. It's also on my to-do list. The newest one, I assume you mean, the one that came out back in February, January, something like that. I mean, it's not like a more recent one, right? Oh, good deal, Captain. I don't know. Sometimes you gotta be like a little on your toes when somebody asks you that. Are you from the West Coast? No, I am from the East Coast, and then currently residing in the Colorado area. No, nothing newer. Gotcha. Yeah, I do want to kick KSP 2 with that newest update that was from earlier this year. But yeah, like I said, been on a little bit of a hiatus, so we'll get back into it. It's pretty late here. Where, on the East Coast? Yes, it's because I'm mountain time right now. All right, let's go ahead and see. So we have a crane. We should be able to use the crane and put out a new launch pad, however that's figured out to be. Yeah, the final update. Yeah, indeed. I see you, Mr. Fuzzy. Well, don't worry, the VOD will be up if you want to go back and if you want to go back and watch it, and then I plan to start streaming again a little bit more regularly for sure. Now that I think my schedule might allow for it, and then I do plan on streaming a little bit earlier. Tonight was kind of a fluke because my setup was giving me some troubles after not having been started for like 6 months, you know. As it does, as it tends to do. Do I not have any Kerbals here? Where are my Kerbals? I don't have any Kerbals in view, huh? I thought we saved some Kerbals over here. Some grounds crew, I should say, but I guess not. As is tradition, that's right, as is expected. Okay, so we should be able to put out a new pad here. I might have to move this back, the crane. The crane looks like it's in pretty good condition. I don't know how many times we've used this crane, if it's a new crane or not from our last save. You know what I should do, chat? You know what I should do? This, our mission log. Where did we leave off our missions? Oh, okay, there we go. So the 17th, we did our mission. It was the Minerva 2 reusable. That's probably the one that's out there in the middle of the bay. That was the second flight of that vehicle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 Kerbals. Hey, Deke, you're on this mission. And we were going to Capstone. Did we make it? Did we make it there? Question mark. Backing station. Yeah, we should see where we have Kerbals and things. Yo, Krek coming in with 17 Kerbal years of support. Much loved. No, wait. No, I'm sorry. That's 17 out of 65 for the sub goal. Coming in with a tier 1. First time sub from Krek. Much love to you, my friend. How are you doing? Okay. So let's see. If we scroll down, we should see like the last thing we flew, yeah? Okay, not that. Not that. Aha! Okay. And do we have Capstone Station anywhere, or is this Capstone Station that got renamed? Let's go ahead and see. So this is the KRV, the Kerbal Reentry Vehicle. Or, sorry, the Kerbal Return Vehicle. Did we make it through all of the last community contract launches? No, we did not, Deke. No, we did not. I do have that tracked here in our mission log as well. Okay, so we did arrive on station. There's Deke. Everyone is good. Everyone is safe. Good. Here's our space station. We have one of our resupply modules from the contract, 2 of our resupply modules from the contract, from our community contract. So that's good. They're looking healthy. Good. We have to repair that with an EVA. So 1 solar array is damaged. Everything else is fine though. We have 2 more that could be deployed if need be. Okay, cool. So we have our Kerbals up there, so they're fine. I guess I can go back to our mission log here and say that that was a success, because we did get them to station. Don't know if that was taken care of. Okay. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and launch a Minerva 2. Let's go ahead and launch a Minerva 2 and see where we left off with our code. I think that'll be good. Because I have no idea. I mean, the code should be working, but I don't know exactly what all had to happen to be set up. So let's go ahead and recover you. That's just the pad. Done. We go to the vehicle assembly building. We should just be able to launch the same vehicle over. And we'll just do this as a test to see where things were left off here and make sure that the code actually still works, KRPC still works, all of that jazz. Yes, very good. Yes, good. All right. So we had this one, I think, that we were working with. Minerva 2R new, meaning a new vehicle launched on the pad for the first time. Okay. Well, let's figure this out. I'll leave this over here to the side. Let's go ahead and launch the last thing. Minerva 2R flight ready. Minerva 2R flight ready. So that's that, but did we not use, is there not one for like the KRV? Should be one that we use with Kerbals. Stand by, chat. Let's actually have a look here. Minerva 1, reusable. Okay, Minerva 2 KRV is what we used last time. Okay, well, let's launch the non-human rated version, or non-Kerbal rated version. This guy. And let's see kind of like where, if that problem with the RCS was fixed or what have you. So this is going to be fully fueled. That should be fine. Don't have to fuel it on the pad. That's all locked out. Excellent. Let's go to hangar pad. LP1, LP2, LP3. Oh gosh, we have multiple launch pads. I think it's LP1B. Go with that one and see what happens. All right. The code is working. It's the universe that's buggy. That could be true, 100%. Have you ever thought about doing something like an ultra hardcore mode where flights have to be human rated and it is realistic fuel, and I believe the Kerbal is a mod? Sorry if that's dumb. I have like 5 hours playing mod at KSP. So I actually have played with Kerbalism. I didn't feel like personally it was a good streaming like viewer experience, if that makes sense, for streaming. Only because so what I have found over my streaming career, streaming KSP, is I think a majority of people that watch don't necessarily play a super modded. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be wrong now. But what I found is that, you know, especially for newer people that come into the stream that are playing KSP for the first time and don't have many hours in it, I like for them to be able to see things done in KSP that they can do right now without mods, right? So I play with very, very few mods, mainly only like quality of life and beautification mods, right? But I do kind of have an idea of wanting to get into something like real solar system and that sort of thing, like RSS, which I think has been updated or something like that. I do have a desire to one day do that. But yeah, watching you made me commit to stock. Yeah, Kerbalism is fun but stressful. Yeah, exactly. Why use a mod to do all the math for life support when you could just make a bunch of stuff up? Exactly, 100%. Don't need Docker. Okay. I'm gonna guess that this is all fine. Hopefully it's all fine, chat. Setting up our PID control. I think we're just gonna launch it and see what happens. Like I said, I need to relearn what our code does and what worked and what didn't work. Outer Planets mod, that's fine. That's fair. All right, well, here we go, chat. Let's go ahead and see what happens here, right? So we'll put that right there, this right here, and then we'll hit play. So this is all Python. Python from here on out should, if everything goes well, run the rocket through Miko. Does it go anything after Miko too? We have Miko staging. No, it just goes through Miko, I think. Yeah, it just goes through Miko. All right, engine ignition, and we had a anomaly question mark. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and revert. I think I need to name one of the things pad separator. This looks like a whole lot of New Glenn. Yep, that's right. Hey, what's up, Lord? How are you doing? Hey, thank you, Lord. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, lurk away, my friend. Lurk away. All right, so good. See, we tested the code. Code didn't work as expected. It worked as intended, but not as expected, I think is probably the correct way to figure that out. Okay, so it is what? List index out of range. It's because it doesn't have a thing called pad separator, huh? Right, because this is that. But this is Minerva 2R new. So where was this error? Ah. I see. I don't really play with lots of mods, including life support, but I usually turn the life support off back on the rare occasions that I was streaming. Yeah, I gotcha. Let's see here. So this is a list, index out of range. Is this going for a docking port? And where is this getting called from? Aha, it's getting called here. But if it's a new vehicle, we don't have that set up. So it should just be activate next stage. Yeah. Because this is, oh. 1 second, chat. Let me just make sure. I see. Okay. So Minerva 2, our new, is not this one. Because this should, okay. How do I want to do this? Because what we could do is either go in here and check this if it's empty, and if it is, then we hit activate next stage. Maybe that's what I want to do. That is there not a, what's the list check for empty? I know that you can check an empty list here. Just the length. Okay. So it should have length of 0 then. So if the length of this is going to be equal to 0, then we just do vessel dot control dot activate next stage. And then else. Come on, thank you. There we go. Something like that, I think. Could be fine. Yeah, you know what? Let's try it. This should work. All right, let's try this again. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, main engine start, outboard engine start, and pad sep. Hey, that worked beautifully, chat. And we have cleared the tower, and we are go for roll program. There we go. It's looking pretty slick. What's up, Jonathan? How are you doing? You getting pitch over maneuver? Excellent. And zooming in here. Where are we targeting? 0 degrees inclined. Good. All right, like I said, hands-free chat. Is it just me, or has Twitch always been always had buffering issues? Well, maybe it could just be my interwebs. I've only dropped 300 frames, which is 0.6% of stream, so I'm hoping that that's just a Twitch thing, but I'm not sure. Just like you had done that before, yeah, a time or two. How about that little quick on-the-fly fix for that? That's good, and that should make that code more modular, I hope. So that way we can use it with this craft file and our other ones without any effect. That is the idea, anywho. All right, on our last tank here. Exiting max Q, and we're back up to full throttle. How much are try except statements proliferated in code for the aerospace industry? It's best practice for like simulations and stuff, but typically speaking, nobody's running Python. But yeah, for sure. Like error handling and stuff like that, 100% is best practice for sims if you have those set up. If you are running them for flight software, then definitely that, or maybe an even better process. Hey, look at that chat. Cool. There we go. That's looking pretty fine and dandy. That was a super clean separation and a great fairing deployment. Now let's see what trouble we can get into here, yeah? Uh-oh. No? Aha, there we go. Stand by for shutdown. That's looking pretty good, I think. Question mark. We went really high though. Ooh, we do not have enough to land, but we'll at least see how far we can get this thing on landing. All right, so what are our action groups now? And I should be able to then, if I wanted to, we're high enough, we can then switch back to our Minerva and get that into orbit. But row, we good? Oh, for the stream, it's good on my side, so I'm hopeful that it will remain good. But you know, knock on wood and all that. Okay, let me go ahead and check out our action group. So we have that. We have that. It should have been 3 that I clicked on then. Okay, I think that's all fine. Oh yeah, this is the wrong craft file version, chat, because it doesn't have the docking port for using it again. There we go. So not a problem really, just not the correct profile, or not the correct vehicle here. But so be it. All right, let's go ahead and get this back in, and let's see how the landing code does, yeah? Oh, the boost back startup, yeah. All right, and let's go ahead and run our landing script and see what happens. Is our control point messed up? Because remember, this is not the correct... maybe it's locking in now. There it goes. Locked in, chat. Cool. Okay, that's our landing zone right there, chat. We'll see. I think we're gonna overshoot though. Yeah, we're gonna overshoot. Maybe, maybe not, maybe not. It's correcting. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bumpy with the Delta V for sure. All right, all right. All right, there we go. You got it. Oh, it's gonna be fast and it's gonna be hot and it's not gonna be good, chat. Oh, okay. Huh. I mean, we got most of it back. We got most of it back, chat. Hey, Terrace, how are you doing? Yeah, okay, cool. Let's pay no attention to what just happened there, chat. I am going to revert back to vehicle assembly building so that way we can load up the correct one and go from there. Also, cut the Python working in the background. There we go. So this is the wrong crap file. So which one was it? C plus landing, that's fair, that's fair. 90% reusability. Well, you're forgetting the upper stage. So technically, we're already getting like only 75% reusability back. So it's 90% of 75, whatever that is. Like 63%. Okay. So I need to go down to Minerva 2R, flight ready. This is the one that we just did though, right? So I think it's... V3 launch FR? I just gotta remember which one we were using. Not Minerva 1. It's none of those. Not Minerva 1. Not that, not that. We had a test there. I'm gonna say it's this one? Or this one. That's the one, that's the one for crew. And doesn't have a vehicle on board. That looks correct. That looks correct. And it's empty. Yes. So this is what we fuel up on the pad. There we go. This is correct. Neat. Yeah, let's go ahead and put this out on the pad then. So this is also going to go on one LP1B. Put it out there. Slightly damaged. Yeah. I know what I've got. Yeah, 100%. It went to space and back. Minor scuffing can buff out. All right, so not a complete loss, I have to say, for a first launch back. Could be better, could be better. Okay, so this one has this called pad separator. Brilliant. You good? One thing I seem to struggle with when coding projects is breaking down a problem into manageable chunks that work together. Do you mind sharing your experience and methodology for tackling large projects? Honestly, my method's probably not the best. I typically just create like a monolithic script or whatever, and then after the fact, break it off into pieces and refactor based on that. So I'm very much a, you know, I know what needs to like happen, and so then I just write what has to happen, and I worry about like the organization later. So yeah, like for example, if I wanted to write a Python simulation for orbital dynamics propagation, right? I'll probably just set up a data class in Python for the vehicle that I want. I'll just create a like a Runge-Kutta 4.5 dynamics integrator. I'll have an orbital dynamics all wrapped into that already, and then I'll have my main script like set it up and run it, right? And then after the fact, I'll be like, okay, I can take this propagator, I can make it modular and refactor it to be something callable. The orbital dynamics that go into that should also be a separate thing that's callable, you know, things like that. So yeah, it's definitely not a straightforward thing, and I think it depends on every project, but I am very much a proponent of like just start coding and then worry about refactoring later. Especially if you kind of know what the end result has to be, right? Just create a monolithic thing and worry about organization. Yeah, thanks, Terrace. Much love to you, my friend. All right, let's go ahead and these guys. I need to go ahead and fill it up. Start with atomic parts as methods, build on top of them, compose more complex functions from the simpler methods, optimize, and them will then improve all code. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so start with atomic parts as methods, so like individual callable functions. Build on top of those. Yeah, that makes sense for sure. I need to now do that for liquid fuel. Get it working and then try not to break it. Yeah, basically. I don't know, for me, I find it much easier if I have something written that I know works, even if it's like really not pretty at all and not going to be the end result function at all. To then say, okay, I have this like source of truth, then I can go worry about working on something that's prettier and more modular and extensible and things like that. You gotta say, chat, I don't like the Leaning Tower of Pisa here. Should be fine. Let's just hit the go button. Hitting the go button, chat. Prepare to fast forward. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Main engine start. Outboard engine start. And pad sep. Ooh. Uh-oh. Skirt. All right, clear the tower. It's correcting itself, doing a roll program, totally fine. Wouldn't you love to see New Glenn do that, chat? That'd be exciting. That'd be exciting. The lean is very much the reason why it doesn't go straight up. Actually, it's not so much the lean. It's actually the fact that it's like a cantilever beam. For whatever reason, and I think I've tried to fix this in the past, it doesn't have support here, right? And so it's just able to sag. But then as soon as the engines turn on, the engines push it back up, and then it releases, and that's why it goes into the tower. I think that's what's happening. And I don't know how to fix it off the top of my head, like immediately, because I feel like we've definitely tried fixing that in the past, but we'll see. Technical debt, chat, technical debt. Are you flying this, or is Python script doing it for you? Python is all up, is all running this up through Miko. After Miko and the second stage separates, I then manually switch back to the rocket and perform the boost back, and then I have another script set up for automated landings. So after booster shutdown for the boost back, I then run another script, and it's then autonomous from there till landing. Nearly pulling an Astra. Yeah. Not quite as cool though, because they went truly sideways. We just like almost crashed into the tower. Well, actually, strike that. We did crash into the tower. We just didn't explode, thankfully. All right, there we go. Second stage sep. And clean separation. Nice. Ah, very good. And we'll just leave that like that. And then we can flip back. Wait, chat. I gotta figure out what are my action groups. That did that. Shut down those. Toggle engine, toggle engine, toggle engine. Aha. It's that one. So I need to hit 4. 4 and then 3. 4 and then 3. Okay, cool. All right, so 4. That should now pop out, hopefully. Hit 3. There we go. Hopefully something like that. I probably need all 3 engines for the boost back though, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna need all 3. There we go. Don't worry about that, chat. Just some rapid engine cycling. I need to go more this way. Still learning the vehicle, chat. It's my first day back. Give me a break. All right, that seems good enough. I hope. Have you ever tried the Z theme UI mod? I know about it. I have not tried it though, no. Hey, what's up, Cassidy? How are you doing? Hey, good to see you in stream. How are you doing? Hope you're doing swell. All right, let us bring this in. I think it's good to go. Yep, I think it's good to go. Astronautics enthusiast and sci-fi fan. Heck yes. Heck yes. Good, you're in the right place. Thank you for contacting customer support. Due to an unusually high volume of calls, none of our representatives are currently available. It's fine. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it. All right, we're just going to kick this over here. We went pretty high. Like I said, this is just a test, so I'm not worried about the second stage. We're just gonna let the second stage go back in to the atmosphere. But we're gonna see if we can automated landing this thing. That's English, yeah. Good English there, Rocket Guy. Hey, what's up, Harry? How are you doing? Expanse's first book today, so I'm definitely thinking space. Hardcore Shipbreaker for a few hours. Nice. Shipbreaker. I'm familiar with that game, but I've never played it. But yeah, Expanse. I've definitely seen the show, have not read the books. Probably a disservice to myself. All right, landing script is going. Uh-oh. Come on. Uh-oh. Why? Why must you do this? Are we controlling from the right point? We should be controlling from the right point. We should be controlling from the right point. Are we getting a division by 0? Is our mass 0? How's our mass 0? Oh, standby chat. Our mass is not 0, but I think it's trying to connect to the wrong vehicle? Connecting to the wrong vehicle. LZ2 landing site name vessel.name. No, wait. How are you getting 0? A shouldn't be 0. Let's go ahead and print out this line here then. Print out. Oh, don't want to do that because I need it to be the other one. Print A and vessel.mass as well as vessel.name. The Python code is breaking, chat. All right, it just ran and kicked out again. Minerva 2 FS. All right, so those are not 0. Wait, where is it getting a 0 from? Oh, vessel available thrust. Ah. Silly me, chat. Silly me. I need to do that. There we go. There we go. Now it's running. There we go. Let me actually come here and delete that. Go ahead and cut that and rerun it. Oh God, who was that? Yo, Bettle coming in with a raid. How are you doing, Bettle? Hope you're doing swell. Long time no see. All right, chat. For those of you just coming in from Bettle's stream, we are trying to automate this rocket for a landing back at the pad. We're using Python So far, we are 27 seconds to landing, or to landing burn, I should say. And we'll see how it goes. Just ready for dinner? I feel ya. I feel ya. Well, thank you. What were you up to, Bettel? All right, there we go. Our landing zone is here. Looking good so far. It's trying to get there. It's trying to use this cross-range capability. Oh, 100% Sea Kraken. Yeah, operator error, all of that jazz, for sure. All right, it's trying to come straight down onto the pad here. That's excellent. So is this reusable? It is reusable. All right, there we go. Should be going for that landing zone, I believe. Maybe it's that one. It's one of these two landing zones here. Looking good. Tease it. Landing burn ignition. Little off the mark here. Could be better. And touchdown. Ooh! Look at that! 0! 0 across the board. But we did land it. And that's the important part. Yeah. Not bad. So yeah, it could be better. It could be better because we could land there, which is where it needs to land. Could certainly be better. But at the same time, pretty happy with that. Yeah, very much clinching, 100%. I'm very interested in GNC, and I'm trying to optimize my courses in school for that. I am still an undergrad studying EE, electrical engineering and physics. Any tips on pursuing the GNC engineering path? So there's honestly, there's a lot of different ways into it, I think. EE could be fine, physics is good. I mean, if you really want to go GNC route, highly recommend switching to aerospace if you can, because aerospace, at least in most typical college courses or curriculum, you can concentrate in something, and you can concentrate in like flight dynamics or dynamics and control, which is GNC. So if you can switch to that, if you really want to focus on guidance, navigation, and control, switch to aerospace with a concentration in that. Otherwise, you can still probably get into that from EE, because guidance, navigation, and control, surprise, works a lot with hardware in terms of sensors and, onboard processors and avionics and that sort of stuff. So it kind of depends on what your current curriculum is and what your curriculum can be in terms of what university you go to. But definitely look at switching to a AE, what would you call it? Major, if you can. If not, don't worry about it, because there are other pathways to that, and we could talk about that if that's a for sure thing. Have you seen KOS? Apparently it has PID loops built into it. Yes, Ubernator, I am familiar with KOS. I decided not to use KOS because I wanted to use like actual Python, which is what I use for my day job. And KOS is its own scripting language. Not here or here so much, but right here. Exactly. Yeah, Tommy boy. Yeah. Not here so much and not here. I want to be right there. Right here would be great. But I think I know what the issue is with this controller right now, is that if you guys saw, we turn on the engines, and yet we still basically, as soon as we turn on the engines, we try to basically point towards the pad. Because if you guys saw, and we could maybe do it again, we were coming in here, right? And we were coming in here, we were still angled this way to try and use body lift to get to the pad. And then once our engines turned on, we then switched our control point, our target, I should say, to always point towards the pad with our engines. So our engines kind of push us this way, but our aerodynamics are the dominant force factor, the dominant dynamics on this vehicle until we get really subsonic, that we just kept getting pulled away from our lift, from our body lift here. So I think what needs to happen is, as we're coming in, as soon as we get over the pad, even if our engines turn on, we should always be focusing on using aerodynamics until we're under a certain velocity, and then switch to engine pointing control. So I think that's what the issue is. Let me actually confirm that. We should be able to look back in our code here and see where these modes transpire. Because we have mode 1, descent and landing, burn, start, so it's not that. Medium range targeting and planning for the burn. So let's see what we have here. So we're calculating landing burn. What's the exit for this? Mode 2, if our altitude's at 3,000 or distance to pad is 50. Okay, so we're trying to get really close to the pad or really low in altitude. And then from there, we compute our line of sight and we try to point with respect to our pad. Yes, okay. So I'm pretty sure this is all the aerodynamics. Landing, burn, throttle, if TB is less than 5 or less than 1500. Manned. Burn flag is true, so we start our burn there. And where do we kick out? Mode 3 transition either, so altitude less than 300. Okay, so it's somewhere in here, I think. Update heading based on engine thrust status. If burn flag is true and velocity is greater than 120, heading plus equals 180. Else burn flag is false, plus or equals 180. So I think this is what we need to change. Yeah. I think this just needs to be... I think it's this one that needs to change. I think it's this one that has to change here. So if burn flag is true, so we are burning and our velocity is greater than 120, then we should not flip our heading. You know what? Let's try this. Let's put a pass here, so that way it just skips that. And I want to see what happens. If it's not that... Yeah, you know what? Let's try that and see. Because we might already be doing that, and if that's the case, then I'm not sure where it's getting caught up with our burn for pointing. All right, well, we'll find out. We'll find out. I don't want to get too caught up here. How much have you changed in the last 6 months hiatus of the code? None. 0. I haven't messed with this at all. Thoughts on Starship Flight 10? Awesome, Ubernator. I knew that they were going to figure it out. So yeah, very happy for them that they did. The code in wait, what? The code in this game you're working on with us at the very moment is more complex than the code that got us to Tranquility Base in Apollo 11. Yes, that is true. Well, I don't know. Is the code more complex, or is just the processing stuff more complex? But you're right. The code is definitely more complex because it's Python, a high-level language, versus them working directly in. What were they working in? They weren't working in assembly, were they? But some sort of code, like very simple instruction-based algorithms. But I know that they used peg control, which is something that I want to implement. Right now, we're just using a simple open loop trajectory generator to get our ascent profile, but Saturn V actually used a power explicit guidance method, which is something I'm interested in implementing as well. So there are some things that are more complex, other things that are not. Let's go ahead and revert to launch, and I should really F5 so we can revert and try this again on the landing. It was a custom language, gotcha. A custom Apollo assembly language, cool. You feel like AI robots will be on Mars before 2030? That'd be interesting. Just joined. Is this one of those 5-minute coding adventures? Yes. So we have all the code up and running. It's just kind of tweaking it now. But yeah, 100%. It's one of the 5 105-minute coding adventures, 100%. But we get to launch rockets with our codes. That's fun. All right, so let's go ahead and bring out our code here, and we're gonna launch. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, main engine start. Oops. I forgot to save when we filled up the rocket. Gotta fill up the rocket, chat. That's probably a good thing to do. So that didn't happen. You didn't see anything, chat. Nothing inherently about the computer is complex. It's a bunch of logic and basic electrical stuff. It's more tedious to build. Yep. Yeah, especially with the systems that they were using. They were basically using a type of rope, weren't they, for the wiring and stuff? For the actual processing unit, which is kind of insane. All right, this is what I need, chat. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and fill it up. Good. Cool, that should be good there. And then this guy. A last second funny, yeah. I love that press conference. Which press conference was that, chat? Was it? It was Artemis. It was the Artemis mission when they were talking about Orion, that there were no error, there were no like hard faults or anomalies that they were tracking, but there were plenty of funnies. Funnies was the word they used. I'm a fan of the word funnies to talk about things that need improving or fixing, but nothing that's catastrophic. So yeah, we had a funny there. Rocket Guy and some Kerbal, great way to end a long weekend. What's up, Rio? How are you doing? Good to see you. All right, hands off the controls, chat. Core memory, not to be confused with core rope, yeah. That's right, it was the memory that they were using. That's right. Like they had a funny with a heat shield, yeah. Although they didn't seem to be laughing about that. Yeah, I don't know if that's classified as a funny. That was kind of like a kind of moment, you know. That was like a, oh, that is something that is not causing problems now, but something shuttle tiles being bad, yeah, problem, yeah. Have you tried KSA at all? I have tried to get into the industry pre-alpha for KSA, but I have not gotten a return on my messages, unfortunately. So no, I have not tried it out at all. I really want to, but it's just a matter of getting a hold of the guys, I think, and I know they're busy. Funny is very nerve-wracking with rocketry, 100%. Yeah. All right, like I said, this is all hands off from here. We are entering the throttle bucket. We're out of the throttle bucket now. Max Q is passed. Should be looking good. What I find interesting about it is that it does not have a program counter, but rather a bunch of cores to store the address currently being edited. Yeah. Yeah, the Apollo guidance computer and everything is truly a engineering feat in and of itself. There we go, we have good Miko. Stage separation back under manual control now, chat. So we're just gonna kind of tee it off right here. Test the SEP, good SEP, test the SEP, good SEP, switch back, awesome. Okay, and then we're going to bring this in, hit 4. Have that kick out. There we go. And start our boost back burn. This is all manual right now. And we'll shut down right there. Sweet. we'll go ahead and get this situated for re-entry. Oh, really, Cassidy? That's funny. Don't know that I knew that. Imagine just being on the ISS and there's a gorilla. Yeah. There was a movie about that, something, right? Ad Astra did that, right? The movie Ad Astra with Brad Pitt. They find a space station that performed like mutation or like genetic tests, and they genetically modified a baboon or something like that, and it killed people. It was like a very weird sort of like tangent story that I don't think had to be in the movie, but you could probably say that about a lot of scenes in a lot of movies. Is your booster reentry also automated? Yeah, from here on out, I'm about to hit the go button, and we're gonna hit the go for landing. And it now has control. So now it's going to lock in and find the proper attitude for re-entry. It's gonna take a second, but it'll get there. There we go. Locked in. Moonfall, yeah, Moonfall's pretty bad. Yeah, you're right. Moonfall is pretty bad in terms of an actual space movie. Like, don't watch Moonfall, don't watch Gravity, don't watch those things if you're interested in getting a true to life, realistic space setting. If there was any non-human on a space station, I'm sure your priority is making sure it can't poke a hole in the station. That, yeah. A huge conspiracy theory made into a movie, yeah. So many things wrong with that. The thing I couldn't understand about Moonfall was that Moonfall, right, the moon is hollow, and yet if it was hollow, it had so much mass still and so much gravitational effects that it was doing things to Earth. It was affecting the gravitational field of Earth. Like, make up your mind. Is it hollow or is it not? Oh, War of Worlds. Is that that's the tripods, right? That's Tom Cruise. Although who was the original story provider? Was it H.G. Wells? Was it Wells that did War of Worlds live on radio and people thought it was actually really happening? What's up, Bravo? How are you doing, man? Coming in 38 Kerbal years of support. Much love to you. Thank you, thank you. All right, we're looking good here, chat. Not overshooting yet. Yeah, it's all custom, yeah. We did this with Kerbal Constructs, I think is the mod. Uh-oh, overshooting. See, chat? See, right now we should be trying to get back to it, and it's not quite there. At least, oh my god, are we gonna have a foot on? We're gonna have a foot on, chat. Look at that. We have a foot on the pad. We have a foot on the pad. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, what's up, Carl? How are you? Ooh, what is that a schematic of, Graham? This is actually the module I was talking about. Schematic, current switching module. Assembly, current switching module assembly. Interdasting. Yep, I feel like you can get lost in that. I'm gonna get lost in that. Yeah, 1 foot accuracy. That's right, 1 foot accuracy. I like it. Yeah, H.G. Wells wrote War of Worlds, and I'm pretty sure the story is that he went on live radio back when radio was a thing and not television, went on live radio at night or something like that and started giving this story War of Worlds. And I want to say that it caused a panic, that people listening actually thought it was happening the way he was telling the story. Like he actually thought, or people actually listening thought that there was an attack somewhere or something like that. Maybe that's just a myth, but I swear I feel like I heard that somewhere, read that somewhere. Yeah, that happened. Cool. Ah, the War of Worlds radio broadcast of 1938. Nice. That's cool. There's a documentary on it. That's sweet. One small step for a rocket. Yeah. So, interestingly enough, chat, that change that we made did not have an effect. So, why? Why did it not have an effect? Is it because it entered a mode? You know what I need to do? I need to look out at the thing here and see what mode we're in when we're going through that. Gosh dang it. You know what? I forgot to save again as well. Son of a gun, chat. All right, roll it back. I just want to see if that's the problem. If it's not, then we're not going to worry about it, and we'll just continue on, because we do still get the rocket back, even if it catches the lawn on fire. What are the PID coefficients? Yeah, they could probably use some tuning, or probably use some gain scheduling is probably the actual solution. 0.25 for proportional, 0.01 for integral is the inner loop, and then we have 0.2 for velocity control, 0.15 and 0.05. So yeah, definitely could probably use more derivative as well. Definitely could probably go through a whole get lost in tuning again, but you know. Oh, 1989's Wallace and Gromit's A Grand Day Out. The moon was delicious cheese. Gotcha. Who made up the moon is made of cheese story? Who knows? Wasn't there a famous, I don't want to say famous, I don't know how famous he actually was, but an actual scientist or physicist that was interviewed before Apollo launched, saying that this was all a bunch of nonsense because you can't land on the moon? I feel like I definitely remember that somewhere rattling up in the recesses of my mind. All right, let's go ahead and do a new launch. Okay, I'm gonna try to remember to save it this time when we're doing our boost back. We don't have to do this again. This will probably be the last time we do this anyways. Bum, 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 bum. So I don't want to get lost in this. I just wanted to test the code and see where the code was left, since it's been a hot minute. All right, there we go. I think it'd be a harder cheese, personally. So I think billions of years of solar winds and stuff would have dried it out. It's gonna be a hard cheese. I believe they did not know if the surface of the moon could support the landing. I think, not for sure. Yeah, I don't remember. There was something like some physicist who, I don't know if he was actually like famous or not, like, you know, like famous physicists like Albert Einstein, right? But I definitely remember seeing some old interview before, like years before Apollo launched, I think, saying that this was all hokum because you can't land on the moon. His theory was that it was like plasma or something, I don't remember, or like it was just nothing but gas or something like that. Some of the most abrasive sediment. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have an atmosphere. The firmament. Firmament confirmed. Yes. Now we bring it full circle to the flat Earth conspiracy. Stabilizing pitch for Miko. And shutdown. Sweet. So at least we have that all figured out, chat. And we have good fairing set. We'll do all that. All right. So remind me, chat. I need to make sure to F5 here. Am I controlling from the right spot? No, I'm not. There we go. Now I'm controlling from the right spot. I was like, what the heck is going on here? All right. Boost back burn has begun. And we have shutdown. Seems good. F5 win? Yeah, I know, right? Truly. Well, F5 as soon as I get into position here. But thank you for the reminder, because believe it or not, I already forgot about that. Bringing it back. There we go. Try to get situated right about here. There we go. Now we'll F5. Perfect. Okay. Well, once we start descending, I'll hit the go button on our landing script. All right. Maybe I'll hit F5 again. Now that we're descending, we'll hit the go button. All right, computer has control. All right, looking good. It's good to know that our upper stage can basically get into orbit no problem. Gives us plenty of time to get our landing burn in. All right, we're 26 seconds and climbing from our burn start for landing. As we're continuing to slow down and get pushed further out. Pushing our time to burn up and away. 28 seconds now, 29 seconds to time to burn. All right, our burn is now ascending, 28 seconds. 27. Cool. Gouda. It's pretty Gouda. All right, we are tracking our landing zone. Looking good. We are in mode 1 currently. Mode 2 should be on engine burn start. Once we pass 3,000 meters. There we go. Perfect. Looking good. Still in mode 1. Mode 2 begins. Still in mode 2. Still in mode 2. Ah, so it is, the problem is in mode 2 then. Mode 3 there. And shut down. So the problem is in mode 2, chat. Good to know. So if we come into the landing burn here, do you know what G-fold is? Yep, 100%. Yeah, I've looked at it. It's something I'd want to implement in the future for sure. Something higher fidelity than what we have now for sure. But I want to get something working first so that way we can actually use it in career mode without getting just lost in development. All right. So something to do with, we have our burn start. Burn flag is true. If it's true and telemetry is greater than 120, then we don't do anything. So do I need to just subtract 180? Do we flip it around? Or I guess, no, because see that's, that should be, yeah, I'm not sure why our heading isn't being flipped around. Because we should just be using heading directly. How do I want to do this, chat? Or is it our pitch, actually? Heading could be fine. It's our pitch that we want to change. It's our pitch that we want to change, not our heading. Our heading's never going to change, but the way we want to pitch is going to change. You know what? Let's try that. I'm curious. I'm curious to see, chat. If we do pitch input, times equal -1. Actually, is that going to be what I want? No. Or is it? How does it define pitch here? No, it's going to be our heading, right? Our heading has to be the thing that changes. We could, Xerox. It just means that we use more propellant, right? To do the actual landing burn. Now, what we could potentially do is get rid of the limit on the pitch and the, yeah, get rid of the limit on the pitch. Let's try changing the pitch real quick. Like I said, I'm trying to relearn KRPC here and how KRPC is set up. And the kind of unfortunate thing-ish about KRPC is it uses pitch, roll, and heading, and not pitch, roll, and yaw. And so heading determines where you are on your compass, the direction you're going, but that couples your pitch as well. So I'm trying to kind of relearn what we've had previously, or, you know, relearn what we can and cannot do, or how to do it. So give it another quick test here. He's struggling to think. Yeah, I know, right? It always happens after a long day. It needs to be a little bit flatter. Yeah, you're talking about the angle it comes in at. Yeah, I wonder what it's doing to calculate the heading at that point, because truly heading should almost be null when we're right over it. At least now we've limited it to know that it's mode 2, so whatever the issue is, it's in mode 2. Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't have the control authority to get what it wants, or what it commands, but it has enough control authority to get what it needs, right? You can't always get what you want, but you can get what you need. That's kind of what it's going for right now. And again, keep in mind, chat, we've created a very, very simple control architecture here. It's a PID that's just trying to manage out downrange distance. It's not doing anything fancy like convex optimization, which is what Falcon 9 does, right? It's not doing anything, any sort of optimal control here or optimal guidance. Is Gfold an open algorithm? I think there might be an open version of it somewhere. Or maybe not Gfold, but Snopt, which can be used similarly. It's a good question. I'm actually not sure. So when we enter burn, we change our heading. This might cause it to freak out and go out of control, but see, now it needs to switch back. Okay, so that actually did do what I was thinking it would. Interdasting chat. I mean, we are constantly landing like right here. We just need to move the pad here. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, chat. No, I don't want to do that. Never mind. I was going to say, you know, we could just target not the pad. We could target a fixed point that's on the far side of the pad so it lands in the middle. But no, that's not going to work. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Increase KI? Maybe. Yeah, I don't want to do that, chat. That's not fixing the problem. That is not fixing the problem. Yeah, we can check out the mode 1 here. Apply horizontal velocity sign based on whether moving toward or away from the pad. That should all be fine. Current heading. Wait, where do we get heading? We get heading error, and we get current heading. Oh, we use that for the roll. Yeah, I gotcha. I was like, what? Where are we calculating this from? That's always fine. Yeah, it could be that our control for mode 1 is setting us up for an overshoot. Yeah, I just want to be careful. I don't want to get caught in like a tuning rabbit hole. The thing lands and that's good enough for me for what I want to do with it anyways, until we get the boost back burn and other stuff integrated. Because what I want to do, right, chat, is I want to get something working where we can land, or we can take off, do the automated boost back, and land. And then, once we get that working, that full process, we can then start doing more intricate algorithms to use for better, more precise landings and stuff. So if we increase the derivative, it actually might try and slow down faster instead of overshooting. It resets the error. I wonder if that's a problem, that it resets the error for the wind up and stuff. Is that a problem? Because then it's going to take a long time for the wind up to... I wonder if that nav reset is actually hurting us here. I'm curious. Because what's happening, right, is we have our controller set up, and it's calculating the error all the way through landing, and then we switch to mode 2, and then it resets the nav error. So then it's basically going off of 0, and any sort of integral term that we had wound up to help us like move towards the pad or anything like that is completely reset. Our error goes back to 0, which, you know, at first glance seems like it could be fine, but if we're relying on the integral windup or something to try and increase our control authority, that could be a problem. I don't know, we'll have to see. I'm interested in trying that out though. Because then we go into mode 2. That should be fine. That should all be the same. That should still be working. Okay, try that. Minor tweaks, little tweaks, little by little, chat. No big changes all at once. Most confusing, yeah, exactly, Naps. Yeah, exactly correct. That's kind of what we're going through right now. Hey, Snackless, what's good, man? How are you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing swell. $4 a.m. Now your streams are always super late for me. I'm so sorry, but thanks for hanging out, Crack. Good to see you, my friend. You pushed to GitHub? This should be the most recent one on GitHub. Or unless you're talking about what the small changes I made. But the core code minus the tiny change to gain that we just made should all be on the GitHub repo right now. Junior year starts in 2 days. Goodness gracious. Awesome, Snackless. Very good, very good. Enjoy it. Hope you have a good year. Making me feel old, but you know, so be it. Time goes on, right? Alrighty then. So yeah, see, this is what we're kind of looking at here. So we have our distance to the pad, we're 5 kilometers horizontal distance. That's not including our altitude, right? Just our horizontal line distance. We're moving towards the pad at 155 meters per second. We're commanding 60 degrees pitch, so we move towards the pad. And now that we're moving towards the pad and really closing in, we should start seeing our pitch decrease. Stand by. So once we get, yep, there we go. Once we get within 2 kilometers, it starts pitching down to try and reduce our horizontal velocity. So we come basically straight down onto the pad. We now have a horizontal velocity of 70 instead of 170. Looking pretty good. Mode 2. Ah, interesting. So that did not seem to work. I think we're finding the problem though. I think we're finding where things are going. So that pitch though, definitely nice. I needed to switch over to that pitch way sooner than that though. And I don't know what's causing it to be so delayed. It's probably just a gain issue, but the reset didn't actually have any effect on it. Let me actually make sure. What does the reset do? Inner loop reset. It just resets the error and the derivative terms and all that. Very good. Same for that. Okay. Inner loop, outer loop, reset, reset. Okay. Cool. So that's not the problem. Junior year starts in today. Vector and complex calculus. Ah, very good. Class average of a 2.4. Is that in terms of a 4.0 GPA? Or do y'all do like the 5-point GPA? And then the rocket misremembers today being April 1st and completely reverses its heading. I know, right? 4.0, oof. Yeah, got it. All right, so the reset didn't help necessarily, as far as we can tell. So it could be a gain issue at that point then. I wonder if it's a gain issue. Because so that's outer loop. 17 horizontal velocity. Oh, I think it's a gain issue. My thinking here is, chat, because what does it show? What does it show on the mode transfer? So we switch over, it resets for 378, mode 2, horizontal velocity. And it's commanding -40 pitch. It's maxing out the pitch. See? It's immediately maxing out the pitch when it shouldn't be. Because it goes from -40 on the outer loop here, -64 on the outer loop, with the inner loop maxing out. Yeah, see, look at that. Outer loop is increasing, pitch is not. Yo, Snackless coming in with the 15 Kerbal years of support with a Twitch Prime. Much love to you, my friend. I hope you have a wonderful start to your school year. All right, then it switches. That's where we see it switch. Aha. Aha. That's an inner loop problem. See, look at that. Outer loop, increasing, increasing, increasing. Immediate flip. Nothing else changing. Immediate flip in the pitch commanded. Horizontal velocity didn't change. It's an inner loop issue, chat. But why? Because we're resetting. So why is it an inner loop issue if we're resetting this? At least I'm pretty sure that's what I'm getting at, right? Because so outer loop doesn't change. Well, I mean, the sign doesn't change, it doesn't change. And it immediately switches from -40 to +40. Instead of flipping by distance change, you should measure velocity along the line to the pad. Okay, how do I do that? But that doesn't seem to be the issue, because our horizontal velocity remains negative. And we're still, that's before our flip. So I don't think that's necessarily the issue. It might be an issue, but I don't think it's this issue. Why is our pitch commanding so much? What happens if I don't change this? is I'm updating our outer loop PID. I'm setting it to be more aggressive, so that way it actually tries to move towards the pad more aggressively at lower altitudes, but I'm curious. What does that change? Because that means that we don't change the outer loop PID. I probably need to change the inner loop PID. I feel like the inner loop PID for lower altitudes like this is maybe not correct. We can also avoid the reset as well. Make sure that that's not a problem. All right, let's try it again. Yeah, I see that. Line 213. What do I replace it with? What are you thinking? Because the problem is that the horizontal speed, which is something that KRPC gives us, is a magnitude, not a vector. So it's always positive. So I do the distance to pad less than previous, blah, 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 multiply by -1 to kind of make it a pseudo vector to give us a sign basically in which direction we're going. A direction, I should say. All right, chat, we're kind of figuring it out. Like I said, I think we may have found potentially where the issue is. Now it's just a matter of rectifying the situation. All right, like I said, all of this so far works beautifully. It could, of course, always be better, but it works quite well. It gets us to the pad. It gets us over the pad. Gotta figure out how to minimize the overshoot or whatever it does when we start burning the engines. That's kind of just the solution that we're working towards right now. Okay, looking good. Should start slowing down now. There we go. Okay, still looking good. Mode 2. See, in mode 2, it immediately maxes out the pitch. Slightly better that time, but also not really. Slightly better that time. We now have more feet on the pad. So if we go to the debug, where do we enter mode 2? Perfect isn't even a good. Exactly. I don't want to be perfect. I just would like to see if we can't fix this one issue. Like, if I can get it to where we're just somewhere in this hexagon, I'd be ecstatic. I'm already actually really happy with it just being, you know, within a 200 meters of the pad location, but it'd be great if we could just get it a little closer. All right, so here's the mode 2, right? And it immediately commands -40. And I don't know what changes as to why that happens. That's my problem. You normalize the heading to get assigned scalar velocity. Normalize heading. Normalize the heading? Just the compass heading? What do you mean? I mean, we do get the velocity vector. We do get the full velocity vector. And I only care about the X and Y, I guess. Could do it that way. We could do it that way, actually. Because it should give us a full velocity vector somehow, with some call. And then if we only care about the XY plane, right? Because that's our plane horizontal distance towards the pad. Might be able to do something like that. I just want to figure this out. That's kind of where I'm at. Look, horizontal velocity did change momentarily. Why? It did switch signs, but it was already commanding negative, so that actually shouldn't be the issue. That should not be the issue. I don't think, right? Because see, this stays the same. Negatives within a few points of each other, but then the inner loop maxes out. What's going on with the maxing out on the inner loop when the outer loop doesn't change appreciably? And resetting doesn't help either, so it's not an error like that. So the horizontal velocity does flip signs for 1. So that's first off why. That is a first off why you do that. Did I not? Distance to pad, and previous distance. Should be the same block. I don't know why there's a immediate switch of signs there. Everything else is consistent except for when we mode switch. What would be given that horizontal velocity? And where does it go? It gets printed out where? It gets printed out here. So from here. That should be the magnitude. That's no problem. Magnitude is good. Distance to pad, less than previous distance. Everything should carry it over. I copy and pasted this, so everything should be updating as it should be. So it goes through the top here. Enters mode 2. That should all be the same. Aha! I see. We're recalculating it. Well, that's something that needs to be rectified. Because this is on the outside of the loop here. Or outside of the if statement, so that always runs, so we don't need to update distance to pad here. And that should all be the same. Less than times equals, get less than times equal. Okay. I think that's certainly something. Yeah, Mouser, I think it was that right there. Recalculating so distance to pad updates to the same as previous distance, and therefore, or it switched again. So that's probably not great. Do I do that anywhere else? Do I do that again? Highlight distance to pad. Printing out, that's fine. It's not updated in 3. And it's not updated in 4. So somehow I had a rogue distance to pad recalculation. That's probably not great. I still don't think that's the necessarily the issue though. If I reset this, be interested. I don't know. I just wish I could see inside, like debug this while the thing is running, like actually debug and step through, but I know I can't. That would be great. So I can actually see how the reset is working, because reset should get rid of all of the error. Any sort of integral windup, anything like that. Because for that, we have this last error, we have the integral term. Yeah. With the new previous distance? Ah, I see what you're saying. Let's see here. Do we update previous distance somewhere? Nope. Doesn't look like we do. So that would certainly explain it. As we switch previous distance equal to distance to pad. No, I think that may have been the problem, question mark? I gotta think through this. It's late, I gotta think through this. Because we don't update previous distance except for here. We get distance to pad. Okay. Then nothing else happens there. We kick up to the top. We recalculate distance to pad. We enter mode 1. This is now true. So we enter that and we go through mode 2 now. And we have previous distance to pad here. But previous distance to pad, or previous distance, should still be this. Right? And we recalculated distance to pad here. I mean, I guess it could just make sense to put this at the end, right? Just outside of all of these, just for clarity. So I can get rid of that. I can get rid of that. Cool. Right? Am I thinking about this right, chat? We gotta be doing some pair programming here. Are you clamping the integral? I am clamping the integral, yeah. That was weird. What the heck? Okay. All right, so we should calculate distance to pad outside the loop. We go in here. That versus previous distance. Previous distance on the first go would be 0. Okay. The set points on the surface of the ground where you're landing. On the surface of the ground. Oh, no, not like that. I'd have to figure out how to use the graphic side of KRPC. But that should fix it now, right, Mouser? In G and C, is G and C more closely related and nav is more separated algorithm-wise? That's a good question. No, I think they can all be fairly distinct, right? Like you can have a guidance algorithm, and then you can have your navigation system, and then you can have your control system. I think guidance and control can be, depending on the algorithms used, more coupled. But I don't think they have to be. Like I'm trying to think, you can use some sort of like model predictive control, but I think that's still the control side, and what you would feed into it is some other guidance algorithm. And navigation in general is always going to be what estimates your states relative to your goal, right? So I think they're all pretty distinct. I'm just trying to think if there's like any edge cases. There probably are, but like generally speaking, guidance, navigation, and control are distinct. Like for example, our rocket system, right? We use a guidance method to basically figure out our distance to the pad and our line of sight angle to the pad. And then that feeds into our control law, which then gives us our pitch, yaw, and roll control to align ourselves with that. And technically speaking, we don't really have a navigation system in here because we have all of the states of the vehicle available in terms of what KRPC gives us. So I guess we have a perfect navigation system, if you can think about it that way. Can we just have a printout of the set points? Yeah. Do I not have that here? No, I just have the outputs. Yeah, I just have the outputs. Do I not have that in our control? I thought I had that in our debug. Yeah, I do have set point. But I just need to call... That's just giving the output, secondary output. Let's do out set, and then we'll do the same thing. Out set, outer loop dot output, and then we'll do outer loop. We need self dot outer loop. Oh, I see. I'm silly. That's why. I was like, why is that not working? Because I'm silly. Yes, this is what we gotta do. There we go. And then the same thing here, self.outer loop PID.setPoint. So now we should be able to see the output and the set point as a .2f. Okay. Let's standardize our formatting here. And I don't think we need that. anymore as well, just to kind of shorten this up. There we go. All right. Cool. So let's go ahead and do that. It'll kind of jumble this up a little bit, but at the same time, it should be okay. Okay. Do that. And let's try this again, yeah? Move whole words. Oh, that's true. Hey, fair enough. I should actually just install the Vim plugin for VS Code, like I do at my work. That's probably the actual answer. All right, running the landing script. Cool. Now we see this. So it's trying to achieve negative 250 meters per second towards the pad. Of course, it's not going to be able to hold that, so it's maxing out the control. And same with this. Same with this. All right, we got a little ways. It's going well so far. Like I said, we're so close. I just feel like a little tweaking and we can get it on the pad proper. The landing pad proper. That's all I want. I don't care about getting zero air on the landing. SpaceX can do that. It would just be amazing if we can get it on the pad every time. All right, once we get within 2 kilometers, we should see all of this changing. There we go. Okay, mode 1 still looking good. 600 meters away, 60 meters per second, 50 meters per second. And mode switch. Still maxing out. Easy there. Bring it down, bring it down. Okay, we started over here, chat, and we keep skirting around. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see here. Oops. So on that mode 2, we still max out though, which is interesting. Interesting how sometimes it doesn't hit the tab. All right, so that's mode 1. Mode 2 happens right there. So it does reset. Distance 369 meters per second, horizontal velocity negative 42, and then immediately maxes out. trying to achieve 114. So that's an inner and outer loop error or tuning problem. Because it's trying to still hit moving towards the pad super fast. I think that's the issue. Oh yeah, for sure, TF. I definitely want to automate boost back burn. So I think it is just a tuning problem. I think things need to be less than what they are now. Which, by the way, what are they right now? There we go. All right, so right now we want that, and then we want this to be inner loop. All right, so right now the distance controller is 0.11, and we can already see that that's probably too high. So I want to try and skip this down. Maybe that's too low. So it's 0.11, so let's go 0.9. Integral wind up. Zero that out. Actually, you know what? It's probably integral wind up. Probably the integral term. That maxes it out and makes it a little bit slow to come back. Well, let's zero that. And then that seems fine. So yeah, let's actually keep this the same. And I want to zero out the integral. Just like it is at the beginning here. And then horizontal velocity. This is originally 0.2. Let's back this down to 0.1. Integral term, we'll back it down to 0.5. I just want to try these and see kind of what happens. Then this we can do at 0.5. Something ideally to at least get rid of that spike where we saturate the controller on the switch, because that should not be happening. And so that is a classic tuning issue. And I am also wondering if I don't reset, would it have that same problem as well? Yeah. Yeah, it's using velocity form. All right. Try this again. Yo, what's up, 9-5? How are you doing? Outer versus inner, or is it a long explanation? No, so essentially, if you're interested, Mouser, and you want to do a little extra research, look up a cascading controller. Essentially, you have two PID loops, one that feeds into the other one, hence cascading, right? They're in sequence. Where the outer loop controller is basically used to set the goal of the inner loop controller. Does that make sense? So basically how we have it set up is we have an outer loop controller taking our distance to the pad and basically converting it into a horizontal velocity that we want to achieve. And then the inner loop is taking that desired horizontal velocity and commanding our vehicle here to try and achieve that horizontal velocity. That's kind of it in a simple nutshell, I think. So the way I like to think about it, whether it's right or wrong, is like in a cascading loop controller, your outer loop basically converts one parameter into a parameter that the inner loop controller can use. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we heard you like PID, so we put a PID with your PID. 100%. Yeah. Can we zero the CV? What's the CV? All right, looking good still. Let's see if we get the kickover. Mode 2. Oh, there we go. We're in mode 2. There we go, chat. All right, cool. So that did it. The reason why it's worse is because I think our gains are too low. But we got rid of the kick. We got rid of the saturation. So that was it. That's good. All right. Cool. So we fixed the saturation point. So now what we need to do is, what can we change here to make it a little bit more aggressive without saturating the controller? And I think it may have been the integral term. That was, you know, we had a large error over a few samples, so the integral kicked us over, and then because of essentially integral windup, it took a long time for it to come back. So I'm wondering if just eliminating that integral term that we had is going to fix that. I don't know. We've also reduced the integral term of our inner loop controller as well. And it's probably in the inner loop control where that was actually a problem. So yeah, let's try it with a higher gain here, and let's try it with a higher gain here, because I want it to be aggressive. When it's that low, it really should, like, we're coming in and kick over and land, right? I just don't want it to saturate and then take forever to swing back, which is eliminating that error that we get. Hey, what's up, Ram Spaceflight? How are you doing? Yes, we are back. We are back. Back to streaming. Schedule should be on the lighter side than it was in the last few months, so looking to stream a little bit more. Yeah. Could that evolve into garbage in, garbage out situation? Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, Xerex. Basically any controller, any navigation system, any GNC system, if you put garbage in, you get garbage out. So yeah, it's not immune to that for sure. And it can, of course, compound the issue as well, right? Actually, does it compound the issue? Yeah, I guess it does. I just don't know if it actually compounds the issue, because if you don't have cascading PIDs and you just put garbage into one PID, you're going to get garbage out. So I think it's, no matter what, basically the same. For any control system, if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. That's just the way it goes. That's why we use the velocity form. Yep, it's definitely more robust to that for sure. Oh, the control variable. Zero out the control variable. So you're talking about our desired distance? Zeroing that out? Remember, you're still on the moon. Yeah, the next few streams are definitely going to be trying to understand where we are in the save. Definitely do not remember all that. If you have a bad sensor, yeah, all that has to come from your navigation system. If your nav system is off, your control system has no chance, right? Because your control system is just taking what your nav gives it as an input and trying to essentially achieve that input, right? So if your nav system is off, then don't know what to tell you. Okay, looking good. It's interesting that it wants to do a roll. I think it's from the heading change that it tries to do. Okay, so even then, it's fine on that front. So then that means, chat, we can actually change this. So that's good. Let's do that. I wonder, nah, that's fine. Like I said, I don't want to change too much at any given time. That seems good. Now that seems good. Cool. Okay. I think now that we've changed that and we've fixed the underlying issue, what we did with the pitch control might not be working now. We'll see. Another concrete pad 50 yards east for you. Yay. Perfect. Although it needs to be south a little bit, actually. That's not fixing the problem. That's not fixing the problem. I just wish I knew why now in mode 2 it switches its heading, which is why it tries to roll. I'm pretty sure I have my roll zeroed out for everything. Yeah, I do. Or that is maybe still the problem with the pitch. Oh, it is still the problem with the pitch. Ah, as roll is associated with pitch. Oh my gosh, that's why. Okay. If I get rid of that, stop it, redo it, come back. Come on, rerun. There you go. You're fine. You're fine. There you go. You're good. Keep going. That's right. Keep it going. There we go, mode 2, switching. Okay, we're getting closer. We are getting closer, chat. So the last one we landed over here. All right, but we're now actually doing better. We could just keep, I think, increasing the... Why? Why did this pop up? What did I change that made this pop up? All the other landings this didn't pop up in. What's up, Graham? How are you doing, Predominant? How are you doing? Huh. Why did this pop up all of a sudden? Graph! Look at this graph, chat! No, but actually, like, look at this graph though, chat. Look at this. Look how smooth we're able to achieve our desired horizontal velocity on our descent, right? Look at that. Look at that sweet control system following that desired vertical velocity on the ascent profile or descent profile. And then you can also see it here as well. Yes, very nice, very nice. Down to 0. But we end up being 120. Let's see here. I wonder if I need a little integral action now on, because you guys saw that, right? We basically go to a set point that's away. I want to try adding an integral term to our outer loop. It was originally on the inner loop. Just want to see what that affects. Thanks, names. All right, winding it down though, winding it down. All right, so changing the pitch though, definitely better, I think. It doesn't cause that weird roll. There's other ways we can do that too. I'm going through all of these thoughts of like, oh, you know what would be good? We could do this, and oh, we could do this, and we could do it that way as well. And it's just like, no, stop, focus. One thing at a time. Let's just see if we can't, now that we fixed the control tuning problem with the inner outer loop on the landing. Let's see if we can't get it on pad. It's looking good though. See? It's maxing out right now because we're very far away. It's trying to get within a few kilometers of the pad, and then from there it'll start zeroing out its horizontal velocity to come straight down on it. Still trying to get there. Aerodynamics are overtaking us. 4 kilometers downrange. Just matplotlib. I'm having an issue with building a cascading PID. It seems to be really messing with my angle PID on the inner loop, but the outer is a location-based PID to pitch and yaw towards the target. I'd have to see the setup specifically. All right, still mode 1, switching to mode 2 here shortly. There's mode 2. Looking pretty good. We're definitely getting over the pad. Ah, that's too much. Okay, good to know that's too much, chat. That's way too much. All right, definitely overshot the gain there. Gosh dang it, chat. We were over here, but now we're over here. What program are you using, by the way? I like the node-based. Oh, Archean, gotcha. Or Archaean, gotcha. So we're looking at two cascading controllers here. 1, 2, right? Four PIDs altogether. It looks like I'm gooey, yeah. Ignore the T when it's fixed, okay. So you have a constant number. And you're trying to process that in PID 1, your outer loop. Can you do that? Can you do that in testing, chat? Can you take a PID, have a set point be 0, and then give it as an input a constant number? It'll never be able to achieve that, right? If it's trying to always get a constant number. Am I thinking about that right? Can you do that to actually test a PID? But if it's never going to be able to achieve the set point because you're always giving it a constant input. Am I thinking about that right, chat? Because then you have the output of the PID going into set point, and you also have an input. The beacon on Z and X will do an angle to the target, so it's in direction X is left and right is Z. Yeah. I'm just trying to understand if that's like a potential issue, if I'm understanding this correctly. Because you're always going to be off of your set point, which means that your proportional will always be constant. You have no integral, and your derivative should be 0. So it's all your output from the PID is always going to be constant. So that's what I'm trying to get at here. Unless your TL or T1, whatever that is changing, where you can actually get it to the set point. Then you have nav1 being processed. I mean, I don't see anything glaringly wrong here. Oh, it is changing. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything glaringly wrong. Now, cascading controllers, if we all know PID controllers are difficult to tune, then cascading controllers are very difficult to tune. So I'm just wondering if it's a tuning issue. I see you have pretty large gains for your PD on your inner loop controllers. I don't see, like I said, I don't see anything just like glaringly incorrect. So the control variable is the output of the controller that's being fed back into the error summation. Yeah. You reset from mode 1 to 2, but not 2 to 3. Correct, I do not. That's true. I do not do that. You're talking about here? I should reset. But mode 3 is at the very end, right? I don't think like mode 3 is the issue. I mean, it could be part of the issue, of course. Also, I changed the gain. Changed the gain here to be wildly different. Which is probably, you know, something to think about. Because when did we switch in mode 2 here? We switched in mode 2. Just trying to see if this is actually a problem. I think it is. I think it's still a tuning issue here, right? Because we're maxing it out as we're now going away. So yeah, still a tuning issue. Chat. might have to call it quits here. Like I said, I did not really want to get into a whole that was the change I made. That was the change I made. It's constantly getting ping. It just seems to overshoot the target with velocity all the time. To overshoot, if it's overshooting, you need probably lower proportional. Right. Like that, if it's overshooting, then that's definitely a potential gain issue off the rip. Don't self-tuning PID loops exist? Yeah. Yeah, you can set up an auto tuner. I don't exactly remember how those work, but that is a thing. You essentially run it to where you check. It basically checks the error between the output and the input every time step, and I don't remember how it works, but yeah, there are. I think you can probably find a Python implementation of one on GitHub somewhere. They're not overly difficult. It's just another thing to implement. Why not set it up for Minerva? Good. That might be an interesting place to go. Because see, the idea would then be we run it once, right? And then we should never have to change it again once we find the optimal gains. So yeah, we can certainly do that. We can certainly do that. The other thing to consider as well is I wonder if I need to do better, and I wonder if automating our boost back would fix all of these issues, because then our boost back would be mostly the same every time. And I also wonder if it would be better, well, it definitely would be better, but like Falcon 9, have a steeper reentry where you basically come straight down on the target. Okay, looking good. Mode 2. Now see, that's interesting. There's some sort of delay happening. I swear I was looking at the numbers and it was saying like pitch should be 0, but we were still pitched over. See, pitch input. That's our commanded. But then it comes back down to near 0, and I swear I was seeing these numbers right here where it was commanding 1 and we were still like max pitch. It's interesting. Where did it change? No, that's fine. 300, 300, moving towards the target. 100 moving away from the target. Yeah, I'll have to debug this somewhere else. Or not somewhere else, another time. Another thing is the entire profile of the vehicle changes over the flight profile. I also suspect it's apt fins doing this. Wouldn't it be easy to incorporate the time between the lines so you can plan for that ahead? Wait, what do you mean? So like do everything this many seconds earlier or add on to it? You mean like predict ahead your trajectory? Yeah, you can start. That's not the way to do it for sure. Again, like these are all valid ways. It's just some things are more complicated to implement than another thing, but hindsight, maybe a more complicated method than what we're implementing here would have saved us some of these tuning headaches, right? But I wanted something that was kind of easy to implement, and this was very easy to implement. We got it up and running over the course of a couple of streams, but now trying to tune it for different boost back trajectories is being a pain. So might just need to go to a different guidance law or a different control law or something like that. But anyways, that's gonna have to do it for me tonight, chat. I got work early in the morning. I really hope we don't have to get down in the weeds with like implementing something else, because I think we can get something working with this. It just won't be perfect, and I think I'm okay with that. And I think we are going to start working on automating the boost back burn, because honestly, this is still pretty good. I mean, it comes back from a suborbital trajectory and lands in a place where we can pick it up again. So I think in terms of requirements, this rocket and guidance and control algorithms work. And better is the enemy of good. So yeah, we're probably going to leave it there and work on implementing a boost back burn in the future. I think that's what we're going to do. I don't know. I'll do some theory crafting off stream, I think, and then come back with a plan. MCP is the planning ahead bit. MCP, you mean MPC? Model predictive control? Yeah, that's certainly a way to do it. Yeah, and where you have a plant model, which is your rocket in this case, and it feeds in the current states, and you get an output state so many time steps ahead. Yeah. Anyways, chat, like I said, that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Much love to you all. Next stream is to be determined. Not a specific time or day planned yet, but it will be this week. There will be another one. Don't worry, chat. I'm not doing one and done. There will be more streams, but still got to try to figure out the schedule. So until then, hope you all have a wonderful evening, a good morning, a good rest of your week, and we'll be back here streaming later this week. No, not 2026, my friends. Not 2026. Get out. Get out, Warlock. Have a good night, everybody.